Hey, look, I've got a new box here. Now, I don't do a ton of unboxing videos, but I'm already playing catch up on this device right now. I, of course, am talking about the new Pixel 10 Pro XL. Ooh, it's all still nice and warm and toasty from picking it up off my front steps. I opted to do a trade-in. I want to show that label. So my kit also came with an extra little box here because I'm going to be swapping in my Pixel 8 Pro to get a little cash off this phone. We can kind of move this over, set this aside, because this is the newness. This is the hotness. I went with the base model storage, the 256 gig Jade version of the Pixel 10. And now let's take a look at what $1,300 is gonna get you on a brand new Google phone purchase here. Kind of slide that off. So here's the underbox. I do like this new packaging. It does seem like it's gonna be a bit more recyclable. This was something Samsung used to do back in the day, this kind of brown cardboard recycled material. I'm gonna very gently open the box. This bender visor should look familiar now. I'm gonna pull this out. Nice little pull tab, kind of Microsoft style, and making sure accessibility is well handled. Underneath, there's a USB cable, and then that's the end of the unboxing experience. Let me set that over here. Oh, I guess not. There are some papers in a little folder here. That's very helpful there, Google. Already, I'm super cranky about this, and it deserves a demerit. You no longer need a physical SIM card. Activate your eSIM during phone setup. Kind of one of those don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining kinds of situations. I don't like eSIM only devices. There is no gap or break or separation in the frame. Here in the United States, it's all eSIM now because we have to copy Apple. But we don't get anything for that. Internationally, there's still a little SIM card port, so we know there's just empty space somewhere inside this phone. I have my Pixel 9 Pro handy here, so we can just kind of look, the 9 Pro XL, I should say. We weren't too surprised, almost identical body, shape, size. But another frustration here is just enough has changed, I bet, that if I try to put my 9 Pro XL case on the 10 Pro, yep, it's not gonna line up. So my really super awesome, fancy, nice Peak Design case, I'm gonna have to wait until Peak Design puts out a totally new and separate case for the Pixel 10 Pro. I can't just recycle useful accessories for a phone that's almost identical to the phone that it was replacing. I do like the color, just a little hint of color, kind of sherbety in its presentation. Shiny rails on the side here have just a tint to them. It's not a chrome silver look. Let's see if Google shipped this to me with any battery, any charge. It just vibrated. Google logo, we might be doing okay. Taking its time running this first setup. It's the new Tensor chip, and hopefully performance is better than what we're seeing right now. Hanging in there. Ah, there we go, little wave. Hey, what's going on? And I do have a pretty decent sized battery right there. We do have some charge. Let's go ahead and start the setup here. I am English United States. I do not want to set up from another device. I always kind of recommend, if you can, you should set phones up as new devices. You don't carry over baggage, and there are other ways you can get like your text messages and your pictures backed up. Let me put in my super secret Wi-Fi code, 12345, which is also the same code I use for my luggage, and then we're gonna get the phone ready. All of the setup looks spot on, everything that we were expecting from a Pixel. Now we just gotta, I'm kind of curious to see what the strategy is gonna be, as Google is holding back a lot of Android stuff. Android 16 might not get its full big update until later in the year. So we might be floating in that Android 15.5 place without the full Android 16 experience. Setting it up for myself. I'm gonna check info, checking info, still checking info, and we're gonna sign in. I'm gonna skip to me logging in just 2 seconds. All right, gonna do my two-factor here. I've got a little Yubico key. I'm gonna say USB key, touch that. And hello, Juan Carlos, I agree. I'm gonna skip connecting to a mobile network right now because I can't set this up. I need to set up a specific eSIM, and my personal SIM card is still on a SIM card. I don't like to copy apps, so we'll do that later. Additional legal terms. Discover Google AI at its best. I'm gonna see if I can go through and switch this off because I hate having my power button assigned to a voice assistant. We can turn on more, we can turn that on. I want to check out some of these new daily hub things, screenshots, car crash detection, definitely want to turn that on. I do use nearby share, or I guess quick share, whatever we're calling it now. I'm gonna skip setup for that, and no thanks, we're getting your phone ready. Swipe to navigate. I've skipped doing all that. All right, and we're into the phone. Now, if I pull this down, yeah, it doesn't look like we've got the full like material expression, whatever, set up. I do have widgets and some fun stuff to look at there. It's very clean, not a lot of pre-installed bloat, just Google services. Not too surprising because it's a Google phone. I just want to come in and see first, can I run any updates about this phone? No, system. And software updates. So yeah, we do have a day one 600 meg security patch. So that's already downloading and installing now. That's good. I do like the animations on the back button. That is fun. Press and hold power button. Let me come in. Power menu. Excellent. So now, power menu. Fantastic. I feel if I have voice commands, if I can launch an assistant with my voice commands, then I don't need the power button to be more complicated. And of course, we've got the holding this bottom bar to get some sort of screen search. I feel I'm well covered. I don't need to mess with the power button. I love it. Perfect. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am literally minutes into owning the Pixel 10 Pro XL. Just wanted to share that journey with you right now. I will start doing all of the proper things and testing cameras, and I don't know, do people use the thermometer? Do we need to know about the thermometer? How this stacks up against other devices? Let me see, come on. Oh, that's right. Pixels do that weird thing where I can't just, gotta like wake the screen and then do the fingerprint sensor. That's pretty good. You know, for an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, that's very good. So much more to report on. Ooh, the phone is starting to get warm though. It's working and it's uploading and it's doing stuff. So yeah, the phone is definitely cranking and it's working in my hand, installing a bunch of apps. So yeah, that's not too surprising. I was worried there just the setup was making it run warm. So stay tuned. I'm going to be doing my performance testing, video editing, podcast mixing, batch photo processing. That'll be on the Patreon if you want to see those bar graphs. And I'll have a proper first look video talking about some of the early camera experiences soon, probably in the next couple days here on the YouTube channel. You can also catch all my work on SomeGadgetGuy.com. But I definitely want to hear from you down in the comments below. I just recently produced a video on this Vivo V series. This is the V60. And while I was shooting the video for this phone, I did a whole bunch of unboxing stuff because in the box came a case, a pre-applied screen protector, the cable, and a 90-watt charger. And this is a phone that's going to retail for probably under $450, or the equivalent, depending on exchange rate, of about $450. This phone is almost $1,000 more expensive. And is this fun? Are we still having a good time with our tech at, you know, base model prices being over $1,300? I don't know. You let me know. What are we doing with premium electronics? Do we feel like we're really getting our money's worth? So stay tuned. Thanks so much for watching, sharing, subscribing to the channel, and I'll catch you all on the next video.